There we go, Gavin. I think we're recording. How are you
Good,
doing?
good. Yeah, really good. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, wicked. Yeah, nice to see you. You've got a
I
smarter
like
office than me in the background there.
In fact, the benefits of being with EXP, you get to use the Regis offices.
Is that where you are now?
Yeah, so I can just literally wherever there is an internet connection, there is an EXP office. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah, really good.
So
I
where,
see you've
which?
got I see you've got the flying bike in the background.
Yeah, yeah. As you're probably aware, this is the bike that I rode to Edinburgh on that I've not been on again since. Frankly, I still have nightmares about that thing. Um, can't quite bring myself to sell it though because it's a little bit of a memento. But I think I'm going to do the right thing soon and move it on. But of course, me and you we had a bit of a trip together, didn't we? When I did my bike ride, you
Yeah,
joined me for a
absolutely.
bit.
I think that's part of the joy of the EXP family. Although you're working alone, it's your business, you do it how you want to. It's like a massive family, and I think it's so easy. And everybody who listens to any podcasts or listens to any EXP agents must think they're just laying it on, but it really is like a massive family. And there's people when you meet up at some of these seminars, these conferences, the training workshops, you walk into a room and you may not have ever met them, but because of the avatars in the workplace and everything that goes on social media, it's as though they're your best friend. It's great, it really is.
Weird, isn't it? Because I would have thought before I joined, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm a little bit antisocial might not be the right thing, but I'm quite insular. I like to just get on and do things by myself. And I think that would have led me to go and do things entirely on my own and operate my own business without any sort of attachment to any model, etc., etc. But I'm kind of really glad I didn't do that now because, like you say, it's just really, really cool, really helpful people at EXP that I'm so glad I've had the chance to get to know over the last few years.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to paint this rosy picture of being a self-employed agent, and all we do is walk a dog, if you have the dog, uh, and go to all these coffee shops drinking coffee, and you're taking your kids to school. But there's a lot more to it than that. And I think although that's good to get that better work-life balance, it is hard work. And yes, there are the benefits of nipping for a coffee here and there, but it is hard work. And what I wanted to put across to anybody that's thinking of joining EXP, it really isn't just about drinking coffee and just about walking the dog. There is a serious side to it, but the benefits of it are massive. But it does take a bit of pushing and some guts really to go self-employed. It's certainly not just a breeze, but the rewards are fantastic. And like I said, I think meeting all these people at EXP has certainly made I don't like using the word journey, but I'm going to use it. The EXP
I do
journey
too.
has been, yeah, it's been brilliant. It has really been brilliant. I really can't fault it.
Was when you joined EXP, I mean, we kind of knew one another, didn't we, prior to joining EXP for just professionally and in exchanges on LinkedIn and stuff. But um, I know your background was sort of you've got some corporate work in there. I think you worked for an independent that was acquired by a corporate. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
So quite a wide range of employed roles. But was this the first time you actually set up your own estate agency in your own name, essentially?
Yes, definitely. And I think the joy of this is that I've been a firm believer for definitely the last 10 years that estate agency can be done better, much better. But it's about doing it the way that you feel comfortable doing it. And again, that's what I think is so good about the EXP model is that there's no golden line you have to follow. The golden line is what you draw. And I think that's the joy of it all, because if you want to do something in a particular way, as long as it's obviously within the law, etc., you can do it. And I think you could do what you feel most comfortable with. Aaron Tonks over in the West Midlands does an amazing job, and he gets away wearing denim shorts all the time. Or I think some people call them jean shorts, but it's amazing. I think it's brilliant. And I think that just shows it doesn't matter what you wear. I personally, I prefer to wear a suit. I'm a bit an old school, I guess, but it shows you don't have to conform to what an estate agent should look like to
Right.
be as successful as Aaron is.
Yeah, no, that's right. And fun enough, you say that. I was just clocking the fact that you were wearing a shirt and tie because clearly I don't. I mean, I'm wearing jeans now. I've got the gilet that you can see that just about covers up everything and gives a little bit of a professional look. This is probably the first time I've brushed my hair in about 4 years, and you can still see it's still not exactly looking immaculate. But I, wearing a suit or not, it's nice if it's your decision, right? And if you're presenting yourself as you want to present yourself, it felt like a really big thing for me to be able to do that finally.
I fully agree, and I think you only get, it's like anything in life, you get the most out of what you're doing if you enjoy doing it. If you have to wear a uniform every single day, you have to conform to so many rules and regulations, it doesn't necessarily make you happy. Where if you've got the freedom to express your personality, and that's what estate agents are. It is about expressing your personality. And regardless of what fee you charge, whether it be 1%, 2%, 3%, people buy people. And whether you want to wear denim shorts, jean shorts, a suit, t-shirt, whatever, it's what people buy into you.
The only thing I noticed when I see Aaron Tonks is the smile on his face, quite frankly. I mean, I hadn't even paid attention to the fact he was wearing denim shorts. I just know that he always looks like he's really enjoying himself. And I think I would gravitate towards that if I was looking for an estate agent to use, someone that looks like they're enjoying it. But a question, Gavin, because I think that I talk to agents quite a lot that are thinking about going self-employed, whether it be now or way into the future. And I think that what people are most nervous of is where are they going to get their instructions from when they first start. So, to a certain extent, we get a little bit spoon-fed our appointments, don't we, when we work for established businesses. But when you go out and start on your own, you open up with no vendors, with no buyers. So from your perspective, take us back to sort of day one. What did your first few weeks look like when you were trying to get those first few instructions?
I think it's a blank diary, and there is that sudden fear of, oh my God, I'm on my own. But this is where, if you're thinking about going self-employed, even if you're laying the paving stones, the foundations now, start laying them. And that is on social media. And that's making sure, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you don't have to do all four of them, but whichever one you choose, make sure you do them properly and start putting your personality out there. Don't just put house after house after house. People want to see that there is a face, a personality behind the brand. And I know it's one of those things where we keep saying about all these self-employed agents are bespoke. Tell people what makes you different to everybody else. And I think, going back to your question, what did my diary look like? It was blank, but I spoke to you 2 years ago and I knew the way I would eventually go. So my social media channels were literally open 2-3 years ago. And I've started building those contacts up over the years. And it is then making sure, whether you're networking, board knocking, whatever you feel comfortable doing, use those golden nuggets to get your first instructions.
Almost what you said there is, out of all there's so many options for how to get instructions. Actually, one thing I see, common reason for failure, is because people try and do too much. It's often not that they don't do enough, it's that they want to do too many different things. Whereas almost what I think you were saying is to choose a couple of routes to market and own those and do those properly, rather than spin too many plates and drop a few, right?
Absolutely. When you are self-employed, you're admin support, you are your lister, valuer, what you want to call yourself, your viewing person, your sales negotiator, your marketing expert, your sales progression. You are all of these rolled into one massive ball. And you really need to have very good diary management and say, right, this is what I'm doing on a Monday. This is what I'm doing on a Wednesday. I know every Wednesday, 10 o'clock for 2 hours, I'm doing social media planning for the next week. I know between 5 and 6:30 on a Monday morning, I'm doing my accounts. And I think it's having that structure in your diary and sticking to it. And I've been guilty of, after the first, particularly 3-4 months, where you are really busy, and suddenly you start letting your diary slip and you think, I'm just going to squeeze that appointment in, just going to squeeze that in. And that's when you begin to see the shape of your business begin to go wrong. And I've had to, particularly over the last, I'd say 6 weeks, pull myself back in to where I need to be to make sure that I stay in line with my goals.
But I think that's really good advice. I think that's really good advice. Just have some structure, because the foundations of the business is the most important thing. And I think if anybody asked me to correct their estate agency business or offer some consultancy, I always think they wouldn't want to pay me afterwards, because all I'd come up with was getting the basics right.
Yeah, but for me, the basics of any estate agency is your mailing list. And I know everybody goes on about Rightmove and Zoopla, but if you have not got a mailing list, that is your building block. That's your foundation of your whole business. Regular contact. Don't just show somebody around a house, they don't like it, and never talk to them again. And this is where I think so many estate agents go wrong. They hide behind emails, they hide behind text messages. And it's that a text message doesn't show your personality. Pick a phone up and talk to people. And I think going back to setting up your business in the first place, it really is about planning. Yeah. And I think that most people's biggest concern is, when's the first money coming in?
Yeah,
and that's what you're doing it for. At the end of the day, yes, we talk about a work-life balance, but you need to earn some money.
Yeah, it's priority. Once you've got the money, you can then look at work-life balance, I think. But I wouldn't say I was full of work-life balance the first 12 months, that's for sure. It was work. But I guess what you hope that grows into, which is my next question for you, is something that's a little bit more in line with what you set out, which is work-life balance and a good income. And my question for you, Gavin, everyone who's joined EXP that I've spoken to has got different goals. Money aside, they've all got different goals. What does a successful business look like to you? What are you trying to create for yourself?
That's a really good question. What am I trying to create for myself? I'm trying to create stability.
Yeah.
I'm trying to create a path where I can hopefully build up enough money to buy houses, I can invest in, and I can leave something to children. And also, I really want to be able to do more for charity. I want to be able to put time aside where I've got enough money behind me to support myself, whether that be for 1 day, 2 day a week, to go out and do something for people that are less privileged than me.
Mate, that's probably the best answer I've had to that question. I've asked a lot of people that. I think that's
we're
really
so
special.
Lucky. I think anybody going self-employed, it is a big thing to do, but to be able to give something back to people that are less fortunate out there. In the past, I've worked very closely with people in disadvantaged positions, whether that be through homelessness, whether it be through drug addiction, or whether it be people that have just fallen on hard times. You've done incredible what you did, cycling all the way through to Edinburgh, raising some really important funds for the hospital. And I think it's doing something that's close to your heart. And whether that is doing a charity box, whether it is donating something tangible to somewhere, I'd like to be able to give something back to people.
That's a lovely answer. It's not one I've heard before, but it's one that I really like. So good for you. And it's funny because I'm trying to do a week a year now, not 1 day a week. That's difficult, but I'm trying to give up 1 week every year to do something. So I'm sort of right now trying to brainstorm the next challenge. And I'm trying to come up with something unique like last time, that I don't know anyone else who's done. And it's lovely to be in a position to be able to do that. And if I can do that every week not every week, every year, 1 week a year, then I'll be very happy with that. But excuse me. So from on the sort of more selfish Gavin human side, which there's not too much of that, but let's just pretend there is. From an income point of view, have you thought about how you want that to look in sort of 12 months' time for you to deem your business as a success?
Yeah, I'll be really disappointed that within the year, if I'm not hitting a 200 grand income. That's where I want to be. I think, again, it doesn't matter how challenging the market is. If you're good at your job, there is business out there. And I think you don't start changing your targets just because it's a tough market. You just get tough with the market.
Yeah.
And you make sure that you're charging proper fees, you're doing your job properly. And I think the good thing about a challenging market is that the estate agents that aren't good, we see them go by the wayside. The good agents survive, but the brilliant agents thrive. And I think there are loads of good estate agents out there, and it's no good, in my view, it's no good being a good estate agent. You've got to be brilliant. And that's the difference. I think the benefit and the power of EXP, it gives you the tools, the technology that sits behind the brand. It gives you your personality to go out and be you, to actually be that brilliant estate agent, however you want to draw brilliant. That it allows you to do that. And I think there are so many self-employed models out there. And I think I would say to everybody, doesn't matter which model you're looking at, pick a phone up, talk to the soldiers that are out there, talk to those people, those self-employed agents. Don't talk to the directors, don't talk to the owners, talk to the agents that are out there and say, what's it really like? And I think that's so important. And I will be amazed if anybody picks up a phone to an EXP agent and they say, they'll tell you how difficult it is. They'll tell you they've had challenging times, but behind it all, how do they feel? And I'll be amazed if they get any negative comments.
Yeah, again, I'd agree with that, and I'm glad you mentioned the aspect about talking about how, you know, that it is hard work, because I think it's really important that if someone's going to do this, they do it with their eyes wide open. And you know, I'm like you, I've seen the posts that do maybe sometimes make it look a little bit literally like a walk in the park, right? And it's not. But the pros far outweigh the cons for me. I mean, again, I think one of the problems, you probably experienced this, in fact, even during this conversation, you know that sometimes you hesitate to say certain things because they sound cliche, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to say family, right? We'll not say family, but you know, I've got some people that I work with here that I view as, you know, really, really trusted advisors that I put on a very high pedestal of people that, you know, of all the people I've worked with. But I've seen lives get changed through joining EXP. You know, mine certainly has. I think you're well on that journey, Gavin, as well. And I think that's really, really exciting, and the positivity that is around that, even if it is sometimes that life's a bit difficult and we have to pick up the phone to one another and just have a moan or a rant or whatever, right? We're still estate agents. There's still the ups and the downs of the market and clients saying things that we sometimes want to just go, God, but at the same time, I don't know about you, mate, but I woke up this morning, I looked at my diary, and all 4 things that were in it today, I was looking forward to.
Yeah, I've had some very challenging conversations today with clients. We've got 2 sales that are going through that are proving a nightmare, but it's that joy, it's the satisfaction of being able to say, right, I've got time to sit down and do this properly. You're not running from one appointment to another. I knew today was going to be a challenging day. I've made sure my diary has allowed me to ring the solicitors, to ring the clients, to ring the buyers without being interrupted by, can you fix the photocopier, or can you refill the paper in the photocopier? I've got time to do the job properly. And yes, there are always those difficult conversations. Yes, you're going to have sales fall through. We all have that. It's part and parcel of being an estate agent. But again, going back to being you, doing estate agency properly, do you pass the baton from once you've agreed a sale? EXP offer this fantastic service. I think it's £150 to pass. If you know what your strengths are. So if your strength is not talking to solicitors and keeping it all together, put your hand up, admit it. Then go and use the services that EXP for £150 bargain. They're going to real concentrate on getting that sale through. And if your strengths are board knocking, go out board knocking. If your strengths are doing viewings, go out do more viewings. But this is what's so good about the model. So good.
Well, if nothing else, even if I wasn't listening to what you were saying, I was just looking at enthusiasm when you were talking about it, Gavin, I'd be sold, because that's the key thing. It's evident that it's working well for you, you know, as it does for me. And you know, that puts a real spring in my step every day to be talking and working with people like you, Gavin. So I've really enjoyed that call. In fact, I think probably we're going to need to do another one real soon as well, definitely, and go into the weeds a little bit more.
Yeah, like I said, it was just more of a question to say to people, look, it's hard work. It is, but the support that is behind you, cannot be discounted at all. And I know people talk about it, and you mentioned about that word family, but it really does feel like that. And yeah, it's certainly been a challenging 6 months for me. It certainly hasn't been a ride in the park. There's some real big boulders in my way, but you know what? I know where that light is. It's been a dark tunnel on some days, but there's a big light at the end of it, and I'm heading towards it fairly fast.
Good man. Good man. Well, let's get you there as quickly as we can, Gavin. I've really, really enjoyed that chat.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll catch up again in the next few months.
Look forward to it. Speak to you soon.
Brilliant. Cheers. Bye, Scott.
See you, Gavin.